Hi, it's Cassie Hicks from Modern Marketing Spark and the Modern Marketing Club. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're well. Today we're going to talk about these new changes at Facebook. So this is the weekly Q&A, and each week I cover a different hot topic in social media. So there's no way I could cover any topic today other than to talk about the changes that Facebook announced on Friday. So just to recap, in case you're not aware, or there's so much stuff flying around the internet about the changes at Facebook, it can be a bit confusing. So let me just summarize what happened. So on Friday, Mark Zuckerberg made an announcement that Facebook are going to de-emphasize posts from pages, so business posts, in the news feed. And the thinking behind this, I won't read out the whole thing because it's quite long, but the thinking behind this from Facebook's point of view seems to be that they want to improve the user experience, and in Facebook's opinion, the user experience is about engaging with friends and family and people engaging with people. And I've got a few thoughts on that actually, and it's been really interesting to read. I've been reading you know, all the expert commentary and all the comments to Facebook, and really interesting, because while some people are panicking, and hi, if you're joining the call, just let me know who you are in the comments so I can say hi. There's been a lot of, you know, the sky's falling comments. There's been a lot of cynical comments. This is just to make people pay to play on Facebook. But I think the key thing to keep in mind here is that this announcement's been made. Facebook is going to prioritise posts from friends and family, and it's also going to prioritise posts where you've got that encourages engagement between people. So if you're posting from your page and you post something that a lot of people discuss, and importantly discuss with each other, so that's an interesting little twist, isn't it? So I could post something, or we could be having this conversation, because we don't know the impact of Facebook Live on this at the moment, but let's imagine that something's posted and it's a topic that people are very excited about. What Facebook wants to see is people commenting and engaging with each other, not just with the poster, you know, the person that posts or the page that posts. So let's go through some of the highlights, or some of the, oh hi Deborah, some of the topics that came up in this announcement, and let's just sort of unpick them a little bit. The other thing that's really interesting about these big changes at Facebook is that their share price dropped massively. They lost billions of pounds the minute this announcement was made. So really interesting to see what happens. And I think some of us, I think including myself, assumed that with this big announcement on Friday that Facebook were going to move to this Explorer tab, where they take all the business posts out of the newsfeed and put them in the Explorer tab, which they've been trialling in a number of countries. But I'm not sure that's necessarily the case. They haven't actually said that. So as of today, we don't know exactly how this is going to roll out. We don't know how it's going to impact marketers and businesses who are using Facebook. But I think there's a few things that are clear to say. First of all, any type of, if you're just churning out content and just posting, particularly if you're using Hootsuite or Buffer or any third-party scheduling, you're just churning out that content and no one's interacting with it, you may as well just not bother, because that is the type of content that Facebook are just going to ignore. So if you have got a Facebook page and there's not much traction and you're just scheduling out posts, you've got to rethink your content strategy. That's not going to work anymore. What's not clear from the announcement is how this will impact on video, because again, Facebook very much wants us to be sharing more videos, particularly live videos. And as you know, Facebook and YouTube are in this big competition to see who can get the sort of the video market. But it's not clear, again, if you're posting a video, what Facebook has said, and this is quite an interesting angle on the whole discussion, is Facebook doesn't think that it's the best user experience if you're just watching content. And I don't agree with that. And I know some other, John Loomer was talking about this in his post. You know, he's a big Facebook expert, and he doesn't agree with it either. That what Facebook is assuming, they're making this assumption that if you're watching content on Facebook, like a video or reading your friend's posts, and you're not engaging with it, that that's not a good user experience. But actually, I don't know about you, I quite often watch videos or see what people are up to or follow certain people on Facebook. I'm not necessarily engaging with those people and commenting and having a big conversation. I might, you know, quite often you want to watch the videos. I like all the animal charity videos where animals are being saved and this is how you can help. So I'm not necessarily getting into a big conversation with those people over those videos. Hi, if you're joining the call, just let me know who's here so I can say hi. And I'd love to know your thoughts, so do type in your comments, because I'm just sharing my thoughts, but this is a Q&A session, so I'd love to know what you think and what are your concerns. How do you think this will impact you? The answer is none of us know, but yeah, I think this assumption by Facebook that we don't want to just passively sit and watch things is wrong, and it's going to be really, oh hi Kirsten, it's really interesting that Facebook is taking that sort of passive, what they call passive viewing, as a negative thing. So be really interested to know for you guys, Deborah and Kirsten, whoever else is watching, how often do you go on Facebook and consume content? You read things, or you follow people's posts, or you watch a video, but you don't necessarily get into a big conversation about it. And I know I do it a lot, and my experience on Facebook isn't premised on the base that I need to have a big conversation about every topic, because who's got the time apart from anything? So you're skimming through your news feed, you're seeing what's going on. I quite often use Facebook to read the news, to see what's happening. I use it for our local news, and so I like all the animal charity type of videos and posts and those sorts of things. So what do you think? Do you agree? Are you a passive consumer of content on Facebook yourself, or do you agree with Mark Zuckerberg that it's a negative experience if you're not having conversations with people about the content that you're seeing? So it'll be really interesting. I'd love to know what you think. Just share in the comments, because it'd be really interesting. So in terms of no-nos, obviously scheduling, we've been saying that. I mean, I've been saying that probably for over 2 years now. Don't schedule posts. We've also been talking about the fact that organic reach has been going down and down. Oh, hi Ben, how good to have you here. A bit about, yeah, so I think, you know, maybe we as the users of Facebook should maybe give some feedback. And it's interesting, I'm going to be at the Facebook Gather event in Brussels next week with Facebook. Sheryl Sandberg's giving the keynote address. There's all sorts of sessions, and Facebook experts and people from within Facebook are doing all sorts of presentations and breakout sessions and one-to-ones, and it's going to be really, I'm going to be there for 3 days in Brussels. It's going to be really exciting. And of course, this is going to be one of the main topics of conversation. You know, what can we as marketers and businesses do to use Facebook? And we as business owners, and I hope you'll all agree with this, we want to give our customers, potential customers, a good user experience. I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of marketers out there who've been using the clickbait and, you know, doing unethical things, and you get that on any platform where people see an opportunity to promote their business, and they just do it at the cost of all integrity. But none of us are doing that. I know you guys aren't doing that. So, you know, how can we still use Facebook to market our businesses? So I think video is going to be okay, particularly live streaming is going to be okay, because Facebook encourages us to use those tools. And of course there's advertising, and I think it was Kirsten, you said, you know, this is a, you know, possibly, hi Cynthia, and I know you're not alone in this, that, you know, this is Facebook's way of getting businesses to pay to play. I mean, again, that's not new. That's been happening for a long time. And I would say, if you are serious about marketing your business online, then you should put together a budget for Facebook ads. There's so many cost-effective ways of running ads on Facebook. Unfortunately, I think the downside to that is that it's getting more, the Facebook ad platform is getting more sophisticated and more complicated, and Facebook's adding all these bells and whistles, you know, under the guise of helping us. And I think if you've got a certain amount of experience, it is really helpful. But if you're new to Facebook ads, it is it is like a whole new world. It's quite a lot to take in. So then you end up in a situation where you have to pay someone like myself or our agency, you know, to run your ads, because it can be a bit of a minefield. So Facebook are trying to make it easier, but at the moment, I mean, obviously the ad platform is going to get more, it's going to get busier and it's going to get more expensive, but it is at the moment still really, really cost effective to advertise on Facebook. So I'm just going to have a look at the comments. Brilliant to have so many of you here. So Ben is saying a bit of both really. So I think that's in terms of consuming content. So you're a passive consumer, but you're also engaging. Deborah's saying, I agree with you. I watch and read a lot and really engage with comments. It takes too much time. Yeah, absolutely. It's about time. It's about how our behaviour and how we use Facebook, isn't it? Yeah, Cynthia's made a brilliant point here. Cynthia says, I'm a social media marketer. My clients receive a lot of engagement on their pages, which lead me to believe folks want to hear from them. Yeah, and I don't know about you, I'm really happy to hear from businesses and brands on my Facebook if what they're sharing is useful. So if I want to learn about a new whizzy dizzy Facebook ad technique, I'm really happy to. I love a little video showing me a little hack or a tip or something. So yeah, I think there's, you know, Facebook have that. I think the problem Facebook have, you know, looking at it from both sides, the problem that Facebook have is there's too much content in the newsfeed now. We're all sharing so much content, whether it's personally or through our businesses, and they have to decide, that's the, you know, the algorithm that everybody talks about. They have to decide out of 10,000, or is it 100,000 posts a day you potentially could see, which 300 are they going to show you, and that's where they've got this problem of how do you get such a massive amount of content down to how do you decide what you're going to put in front of people. But I think, you know, just chopping out all of the business posts is not necessarily the best. But they're not saying that. It's interesting, actually, and going back to Cynthia's point, they're not necessarily saying they're not going to show any business posts. And if, like Cynthia's clients, you've got good engagement on your Facebook page, and some pages are really active, then the posts will still be seen. So Cynthia's just reading the comments. Cynthia says, words we can't use anymore or the ad won't be approved. Yeah, I mean, again, Facebook's really, really tightening up on that. I was talking to someone from Facebook, actually. I've talked to someone every week from Facebook now, looking at different campaigns and things, and you're not allowed to use the word you in the headline, so that's the line that goes underneath the ad. So sometimes they'll disapprove the ads just for having the word you in there, and I don't know why, but that's something that they've started doing. And also you can't show a close-up of a body part, which sounds really funny, but they said if you just show somebody's hand, for example, without the rest of the body, they won't approve that as an image. And you can't show someone's lips if you know, promoting teeth whitening or something like that. You've got to show the whole face. So yeah, you have to be really, you've got to keep up with all of this, but hence we've got the Modern Marketing Club to keep you up to date. Ben's saying, I've seen my Facebook ad costs skyrocket over the last few months. The ad costs went through the roof between Black Friday, November and the beginning of January, but we've seen them drop back down again. So I don't know if you've seen that, Ben. Our ad costs definitely have come down a lot since the 4th of January, but from that period of, I think it was the 26th of November, whenever Black Friday was, until 4th of Jan, yeah, it went, we literally had cost per lead going from, you know, $1 in some cases up to nearly $7 over, and particularly that week before and after Christmas, they just went through the roof and started to drop. But yeah, we've seen ad prices much more reasonable since 4th of Jan. So just check whether that's the sort of the Christmas spike. And I don't know, you're still paying for December. I raised this with Facebook actually, because you know, I've got clients on tight budgets and we're trying to optimize every penny out of every campaign. We're working really hard to sort of make the most of the budgets. And you know, for people that are advertising over Christmas, it was tough. And Facebook, as good as said, you know, the big brands squeeze out all the small businesses over that Christmas period. And I asked them, you know, does that mean we shouldn't advertise over Christmas then, you know, unless we've got these massive, massive budgets? Does that mean we should advise our clients to just switch everything off? And of course, I don't want to say yes to that, but that was the feeling I came away with, which is not great, really, and not good for Facebook either. So be really interesting to see what they say about that again at the Facebook Gather event in Brussels. So Cynthia's saying there's a list of words now that we can't use. Oh, that's interesting. Can you put a link to that, Cynthia? I haven't seen that. It'd be really useful to have that. I know there's different categories that you can't talk about. You can't make any health claims. You can't talk about mental health. We've got an interesting client, a property investor client at the moment, and having all sorts of issues with the compliance department about they're not making any claims in the ads actually, but we're having to find some different workarounds because the issue of discrimination keeps coming up, and yet they're home buyers. So it's an interesting one. But yeah, I'd be really interested to see if there's a list of words, if you're happy to share that. Still paying for December. So guys, based on what you've seen and read, what are your thoughts about the changes to Facebook? Do you feel like the sky's falling and that's it, that's the end of Facebook pages? Or I know obviously we've got a couple of marketers on the line here who are using Facebook ads. My advice is not to panic because we don't know what's going to happen. But the key thing is you need to be sharing content through your page that people, they want to see it. So it's got to be good, valuable, useful content, and content that people want to share. And again, this isn't anything new. We've been saying this for a long time. If you can make your clients look like the heroes and look like the good guys, and you can share content that they want to share, and now of course you want to encourage people to comment and engage as well, but if you can share that content, which you should be doing anyway, then you're going to have a lot less to worry about then. I think the big issue here is people that are just either the clickbait crowd or people who are just scheduling through Hootsuite. And if I had £1 for every person I meet who says I'm using Hootsuite to schedule my social media posts, in all the training workshops that I run, and I also say please don't use Hootsuite for Facebook. So again, that's not new, but I think Facebook's saying very clearly don't do that. You're going to, no one's going to see what you're posting. So you'll just have a completely sort of dead page. Okay, so Cynthia's saying the key is to create each business's community outside of their page and engage with their page. Yeah, so that's an interesting point actually. I should look at my notes. Groups, what's going to happen to Facebook groups? And it seems as if groups are quite on the preferred list at the moment. So if you are a brand or business using Facebook for marketing and not much is happening on a page, you might want to think about a group. And I know Facebook groups don't suit everyone, and I really hesitated before starting the Modern Marketing Club because I thought, oh, it's going to be a big responsibility. But actually it's the best thing I've ever done because we've got a brilliant engaged community, people helping each other, and that's what Facebook's looking for. They want that community spirit where people are sharing and people are engaging with one another. So groups, have a think about groups. So what's going to happen in the future though, probably in the not too distant future, is there'll be so many groups that our newsfeed, and already, I don't know about you guys, my newsfeed is more full of posts from groups than it is from friends and family. Because my friends and family don't particularly hang out on Facebook all day. I've got some friends that do, but I don't go on Facebook to see what my friends and family are up to. But for me, I'm much more interested in the topics that I'm interested in, if that makes sense. So groups are really dominating the newsfeed as well at the moment. So, but have a think about groups, because at some stage Facebook will be looking at that as well. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys, and it's great to have so many of you here on the call, what questions would you like me to take to Brussels to ask Facebook next week? So let me know. I've already got a list. I'm going to take a list of all sorts of things. It was really interesting actually, at the user group meeting that we had with Facebook before Christmas, lots of different really interesting topics were raised, and Facebook were writing notes, and they're very interested in small businesses. So be interesting to see how they take all of this reaction and you know what we're trying to do, and we're trying to do it in the right way, and we're trying to do it within their guidelines, and so that we create these interesting, valuable communities for our clients and customers. So yeah, I'd love to know what your questions are that I can take to Facebook next week. Yeah, so Cynthia, it sounds like your clients, obviously under your great direction, your clients are doing well, and they'll probably be immune from some of these changes because they're not just, you know, pre-scheduling posts. Looking for the page link. Oh, brilliant, thank you. Oh, and so Ben's saying you've got a page and a group, and if you link the two together, I mean, that's what I've got. I've got a page and a group, and I've got the two linked together. Yeah, and the Facebook group is where you get your engagement much more, but of course you need a page for your Facebook Live and for your advertising, so you know you end up having to have these two separate assets. Just looking to see if there's anything else I had on my list. Oh, one thing you can suggest to your fans and followers and potential customers is, if they do want to see your content, is to use the See First button. So when you go onto your Facebook page and there's a little tab at the top that says following, there's an option that says See First. So if there's a particular content that you do want to see, you can use that See First, and that means that prioritises that content in your newsfeed. So that's quite a handy feature, particularly if you have got an engaged community and people do want to hear from you. And that's the type of trigger that Facebook is looking for, that people are actually clicking the See First, yes, I do want to hear from you. Guys, I'm going to close there unless there's any other comments or questions, but so I'd love to know your questions. You know, if you could sit down in front of Facebook like I will be next week, you know, the people that make the decisions and are at the front edge of working with businesses, what questions would you ask? You know, what do you want to know about this big announcement that's been made? What would you like to see? What would help you to promote your business on Facebook? Because Facebook doesn't want to lose us business owners, I can assure you of that. It's been great to have so many of you here. I'll be sharing this into the Modern Marketing Club, and we can continue the conversation there. And I'll be live streaming next week from Brussels, so hopefully I have some tips and useful information to share, sort of right literally from Facebook themselves. So I will speak to you from Brussels, and I'll see you in the Modern Marketing Club. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Take care. Bye.